Step 5. In this step, we're actually going to migrate the web-based application from on-premise up into Azure. So to begin, the first thing I'm going to need to do is add an Azure project to this. So if I come back up here to Solution, right-click, say Add New Project, I'll be able to select from the Cloud template, which you should see if you've already installed the SDK, and accept whatever default pops up is fine with me for this demo. Now, I'm not going to add a web role. I'm going to associate a web role with one that already exists, which is my existing ASP.NET web app, right? So I'll just go with the default here. And now my roles, you'll see there's no roles. I have to associate and create one, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new role. But I'm not going to add a brand new role project. I'm going to associate it with the existing web application that I already have. So the only one that I have in my solution is this My ASP.NET web app. Say OK. Now I can configure this. Before I can deploy anything, I should bring up the properties of my web application. This is where I can select the instance count and the size of the instances, etc. I'm going to leave those as they are. The thing that I do need to change is the connection string here for raw storage and diagnostics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the existing one. I'm going to add a new one, and I'm going to call this Azure Diagnostics connection string. This is a connection string, and what it's going to ask for here, instead of using the local development storage, is a couple of things that we have in our portal. So the account name and the account key. So we're going to have to go back to our portal to get this information. So let's go back up here, and let me go first of all back to the home to show you where we can find this information. If I select onto the hosted services underneath storage, you recall in the first step we created this easy Azure storage all lowercase. So let's first copy this. This is our account name from the properties window, and we can paste this in here for account name, and account key is going to be up here. We can just copy this to the clipboard, paste that in. We don't need HTTPS for this, so I'll just go ahead and select HTTP. That's fine. That's optional, it's up to you. That should be good for this. So now let me go ahead and save. And realistically, we're going to walk through another wizard before we can publish this. So if I come up here and I select publish, what's going to happen is it's going to ask me for my credentials. So this is a process you probably only have to walk through once. I'm going to walk through it with you. So what we're going to do is, I've already got an account here, but I'm going to add another one for the sake of this demonstration. And these credentials are going to authenticate me to publish. Otherwise I could just create the package files, go to the portal, and upload them. So here I want to create a new certificate. There's several of them that I already have created for demos in the past, but I'm going to create a new one. Give it a friendly name. I'll call it Azure Demo. And then once I've done that, I'll select Copy Full Path. So this is the second step. If I come out here, I'll say, oops, yep. So once I've copied that full path, I can come out to the developer portal and upload the certificate to the certificate management store in Azure. So let's go back to our portal. And if I go over to Management Certificates, I can select Add Certificate, and I have to select my subscription, which is called CloudFrog, and it'll ask me to browse to that certificate. Now, when I copied it into, using that button last time, it copied the actual certificate into the name. So let's go ahead and just at least remove that part. Select Enter so we get right down into that folder, and I'll select that particular certificate that we created. Select Done. Now we've got that inside of our portal. If we go back to our wizard here, it's asking us for the subscription ID. So again, that subscription ID for that certificate we just created is right here in the properties window. Just copy that, paste it in, and now we just need to give this a credentials name. So I'll just call this our Azure Demo. and we'll be able to see this in the drop-down wizard when we come back up to publish later on if we choose to do so. So okay, so I select OK. Give that a second to go out there and authenticate. It brings in, populates all of our Azure demo, our CloudFrog staging environment, etc. So where we're going to actually deploy to. We can deploy to staging. Likewise, we can actually deploy straight to our production environment, which I'm going to do here. I'm not going to go to that particular storage, but the one that we created in our first step, I'm going to use Easy Azure Storage. Prompt before deleting deployment, that's fine. And whatever we want to give this, whatever name we want to give this. So we might say Azure Demo version 1, right? Now we let it go through the process of publishing, and we can watch its success as the status unfolds. Likewise, we can go to our portal while that's happening. We can go back to the home here, and we can wait for that to actually deploy. We'll see various hosted services here. The one of which is deploying right now is our Azure Demo version 1. We can watch its status be updated. I had stopped recording just to let this complete because it would have took too long in its entirety. It does take a few minutes to complete the publish of an application, but as you can see here, it has finished successfully. You can also see in the portal that it has completed successfully and it's ready. So here's the URL. I can simply click on this URL, go up to easyazureweb.cloudapp.net, and here you can see Hudson Knuckles and Bill Gates. Here's the information that we had in SQL Azure. So in closing, we have completely migrated an application from on-premise web and SQL Server to Azure Cloud, both Windows Azure and SQL Azure. Thank you, and I hope that was informational.